My name is Mr. Cato. I earn $2,000 per month. 6 months ago, I had no serious savings. Today, I have more than $10,000 saved. No business, no inheritance, no gambling on risky investments, just structure, discipline, and clear decisions. In this video, I will explain exactly how I did it. You will learn the numbers behind the goal. You will learn the systems I used to control my spending. You will learn how I increased my income without changing jobs. You will also learn the psychological adjustments that made the process sustainable. This content is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Your income level, cost of living, and responsibilities may be different from mine. Always evaluate your personal situation carefully and speak with a qualified financial professional before making major financial decisions. Now let us begin. When I decided to save $10,000 in 6 months, I did not start with excitement. I started with math. $10,000 divided by 6 months means I needed to save about $1,667 per month. My income was $2,000 per month. That means I had to save more than 80% of what I earn. At first, it looked impossible, but impossible often means uncomfortable, not unrealistic. The first thing I did was track every expense for 30 days. According to surveys conducted by organizations such as the National Endowment for Financial Education, individuals who track their spending are significantly more likely to report positive financial behaviors compared to those who do not track their expenses. Awareness changes behavior. After tracking my expenses for 1 full month, I discovered something important. Out of my $2,000 monthly income, I was spending around $1,850, but only about $1,100 of that was essential. The rest was lifestyle spending, food deliveries, unplanned shopping, subscriptions I rarely used, convenience purchases. These small amounts looked harmless individually, but together they formed a large monthly leak. Research from consumer spending studies shows that small recurring expenses can add up to hundreds of dollars monthly without individuals noticing the full impact. The first major adjustment I made was separating needs from wants. Needs were rent, food, utilities, transport, and basic communication. Everything else was a want. Then I made a decision. For 6 months, I would live in a temporary lean phase. This was not permanent, it was focused and time-bound. I reduced my monthly spending from $1,850 to approximately $900. That immediately freed up about $1,100 per month. Now I was closer to my goal, but still short. The second system I applied was automation. Behavioral finance research shows that automatic savings transfers increase consistency because they remove the need for repeated decision-making. Instead of saving what was left at the end of the month, I saved at the beginning. Immediately after my salary entered my account, $1,200 was automatically transferred to a separate savings account. I treated savings like rent, non-negotiable. This alone guaranteed $7,200 over 6 months, still short of $10,000. So I focused on increasing income. According to data from the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, many households rely on more than one source of income to stabilize finances. Even modest secondary income streams can significantly improve savings rates. I did not start a complex business. I looked for simple opportunities: freelance work, short-term service contracts, selling items I no longer used, weekend paid assistance tasks. On average, I generated about $600 extra per month. Over 6 months, that totaled $3,600. Now let us calculate clearly. $7,200 from structured saving, $3,600 from additional income, total $10,800. The goal was achieved slightly above target, but the financial process was only part of the journey. The psychological part was equally important. Research published in behavioral economics journals shows that specific time-bound goals significantly improve financial outcomes compared to vague goals. My goal was not save more money. My goal was $10,000 in 6 months. Clear, specific, measurable. Every purchase decision passed a simple test. Does this move me closer to $10,000 or further away? That single question stopped many unnecessary purchases. Another decision I made was separating my savings into a different bank account. Studies on mental accounting show that when money is separated physically or digitally, individuals are less likely to spend it impulsively. When savings remain in the same account as daily spending money, temptation increases. Distance creates discipline. I also changed how I viewed myself. Instead of saying I was trying to save, I adopted the identity of someone who values financial control. Research on habit formation shows that identity-based behavior change is more sustainable than motivation-based change. When you see yourself as disciplined, your actions begin to align with that identity. Now let us address realism. Not everyone can reduce expenses to $900. Living costs differ across countries and cities. Responsibilities differ. However, the core principle remains universal. Increase the gap between income and expenses. Protect that gap with automation. Strengthen that gap with additional income. Repeat consistently. Data from the Federal Reserve's reports on household economic well-being shows that many adults struggle to cover unexpected expenses of even a few $100s. This is not because income is always low, but often because saving systems are weak or absent. Financial stability is not created by hope. It is created by structure. Temporary intensity can create permanent improvement. 6 months of focused discipline can change your long-term financial position. Now let me ask you something. What did you learn from this process? You learned that saving is arithmetic. You learned that awareness exposes waste. You learned that automation increases consistency. You learned that additional income accelerates progress. You learned that identity influences behavior. Now it is your responsibility to act. Here is your practical task. For the next 30 days, track every expense without exception. At the end of 30 days, categorize each expense into needs and wants. Calculate how much you could realistically cut for 6 months without harming your basic living standards. Set one specific savings goal with a deadline. Write the number in words. Write the date clearly. Then automate a fixed transfer immediately after each salary payment. Do not wait for leftover money. Create the system first. Discipline will follow structure. Remember this carefully. Income gives you opportunity. Control gives you stability. My name is Mr. Cato. I did not increase my salary. I increased my structure. That is how I saved more than $10,000 in 6 months on a $2,000 salary. If you found this valuable, subscribe to Finance in Practice. We focus on practical systems, not empty motivation, and I will see you in the next lesson.